Happy New Year's Eve, guys. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening, December 31st. And what a year. What a year that we've all shared together. A lot of good days, a lot of uncertainty days. But even within those uncertainties, I always knew whatever was in God's will, that's what I would accept. And I think that's where I've always drawn my energy from. Because you see, we can lay our burdens, our concerns at His feet. But it's His will how the situation is resolved. I don't know, but that's how I've always faced any uncertainty. I have faced it knowing that if it's in God's will. And that's what got Buddy and I through his open heart surgery that came upon us very quickly. Y'all remember the month of May? Wow. So that carried us May, June, and July. And was it July? I had major hand surgery because I shattered my hand putting them hose on him, compression hoses, and just shattered my hand. But I would shatter it 100 times foe if it meant that he was going to recover and be his old self that actually we hadn't seen in many years. We didn't connect it to the heart, but now we know. So 2024 has been challenging with our emotions. Not challenging with situations, things that are out of our control. But our emotions, we can control, you know. And so that was challenging for him and I. And we had to continuously speak out loud, you know, God, if it's your will. And here we go to October, when my brother entered in rehab to get rehabilitated to be more mobile. He had almost become completely bedbound. But with a wheelchair and a walker with a seat, he could still remain independent. And that's what started this spiral, because he contacted C. diff in rehab. So that led to the first hospital visit for, I think, 2 weeks. Back to rehab, and he started having some cardiac issues. He does have a defib. That landed him at the second hospital. He was there a week and a half. Back to rehab, and this was a different rehab. And they said, oh, absolutely not, because there was something going on with the gastro part at this point. So then he went to the hospital that he's at now. 2 weeks ago, I think whenever I made the last video, guys, he got to come home, and he lasted 22 hours. He was back into that same hospital with COVID pneumonia. So the last 2 weeks, I would say, whenever that video I did, updating you guys, I think that was like 2 weeks ago, he has fought, and he has fought, and there's nothing left in him to fight. So he went on Comfort Care Hospice. And this morning, my sister and I went to do a lot of paperwork. And they changed the regimen of medicine. And you know, and we're at peace. He is now at peace. his body. And as I told him when he could comprehend, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. Because you're going to heaven to be with mom and dad. And I truly, truly feel that, believe that. And what an honor to have the brother that I have, because I still have him. But he's not mine to keep. He's not my sister's to keep. And sometimes I think that the emotions with people can be extreme when really we're mourning our own self. You know, I'm going to mourn the loss, but I'm also going to celebrate knowing that he is not suffering at all. And he is in heaven. So how can I mourn? That would be selfish of me, because I have the memories and I have the photos. And what a great conversation my sister and I was able to have with him. I will say Christmas was spent the 23rd. It was Felicia and my son-in-law, the 3 kids, Grandpa and my sister, and Buddy and I. All in the room with him. And it was so funny that the kids come in with this basket, okay? And he's not been able to eat much. Now, he is a sweet eater. And it had a big bow, and he's looking at it. I said, "Do you want me to open it, Bubba?" He said, "Yeah." So he was looking at Mo. He kind of got my daughter and my granddaughter kind of mixed up, because he asked Felicia, "What grade are you in?" And we kind of chuckled about that. And then everything would come back, you know, to current, and he would recognize. But he was eyeballing that, so I opened. He said, "No, I want one of those." I said, "Okay." So, you know, those little hospital pans, took it all out of the little metal tin, put all his goodies there. And so we spent the day with him. And then Christmas, we had the kids here, and then we went back to the hospital because he loves dressing. Now, dressing was not on our menu this year. I just did a gumbo because I've not been able to really dive in and get deep of anything that I can't just set down. So I had to rely on a lot with Buddy, because when the phone rings, you have to go. And we've had many, "You need to get up here," calls. Like I said, it's just been a roller coaster. So I haven't been able, when I get home, I can try to do some clothes, try to, you know, keep up with the house. And Buddy's been home, so he's taken the brunt of the work for me, and God bless him. So that day we had gumbo, but he said dressing. So I came home, and it was midnight Christmas Eve that I got to lay down for a couple hours. But I made sure I did a little 8x8 pan of dressing with some gravy. Now, he only ate a couple of bites. But the funny thing is, Christmas evening, that little basket, or the little hospital pan, it looked like a little mice done went up in there sampling everything. I'm not kidding y'all. Within 3 days, unless the nurses was helping theirself, there was nothing left. I kid you not. So I was like, hey, he got his sweet tooth taken care of. Sunday, let's see, that was Wednesday, and things kind of slowed back down again. So we spent a lot of time, hours up there. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, Sunday morning, yeah, because we left Saturday night. So Sunday morning, it was about 6:45. I get a call. I call my sister. We go up there. Well, he wanted like a soup. And Buddy made a shrimp and corn chowder for us Saturday. So while I was rushing to get dressed and all to get ready to go, Buddy heated it up, and he cut up the shrimp and he put it in a thermos. And when I got there with that, and Buddy threw 2 Twinkies in there. Some of the boys' Twinkies. He put 2 Twinkies in there the soup, and you know, Buddy has to drink those protein shake things. It's in a funny looking carton. He packed 2 of those. So we rush up there, and I don't know why, because he seemed to be, well, not good, okay, but not in the shape that I interpreted, okay. So he was kind of laying down. I tilted him up, and he saw Sue and I, and he was like, I'm hungry. I said, well, Buddy made you some soup. I want some. I thought, he's not going to eat this, but okay. So I unscrewed the lid. We had spoons and Jell-O and pudding. We've been trying to keep things, because I'm going to tell you what, I don't know what's happened with the hospital system, but this one's supposed to be the best in our area. Well, it changed administrations, and let me tell you, it's horrible. It is god-awful horrible. I'm ashamed. I'm actually ashamed. So anyway, we've been keeping stuff, and if, you know, we're up there and we need some Jell-O or something, we have it. So I fixed it, and I was feeding him. Y'all, he ate a cup, maybe 3/4 to a cup of that shrimp and corned beef. Now, it wasn't spicy, but it still had some seasoning. He lapped it up. And so I held his water up. He drank some water. I sat down. I hadn't been down 3 minutes. This was this past Sunday, 2 days ago. And he's looking, he says, I want that. It was a Twinkie. I said, okay. So I get up and I open it and I break it up. And I'd stand there with that water. He'd eat him a bite. He'd open his mouth and I'd hand him the water. He finished the whole Twinkie. I said, okay. I said, why don't you lay back and rest a little bit? Okay. He closed his eyes. Wasn't 5 minutes, he looks around, which is the last time he ate on some of that pudding. So I opened it up, and it wasn't the little ones, kind of big ones. He ate all of that. I said, why don't you give your stomach a rest? Okay. So he went on to sleep. When I left, my sister stayed a while. I forget, but anyway, he ate a couple other things after I'd left after a couple hours. So Sunday, he ate. Sunday night, things took a turn, and his kidneys have shut down, his liver. He only has 5% of his natural oxygen. They're pushing 9 on the little ball for his oxygen. So that's when we went from comfort care to hospice comfort care, and he's too critical to move to Grace Home. So he'll remain in this room, which is a step-down ICU. They've moved him from ICU. So, you know, we could come and go as we please. There's no restrictions. His COVID pneumonia must be gone, because now it's not, they had this big thing on his door and he had to put all this stuff on. Well, they don't have that no more, and the nurses are not wearing masks, so I'm going to assume that that's over with. So, when we spoke with the doctor yesterday afternoon, you know, we agreed it, you know, because he doesn't need to suffer. And it's like he's fighting. And so we had to meet this morning at 8 o'clock to meet with the doctors. He's still in the hospital, but he's transitioned to, you know, Grace Home. So we had to get all of that taken care of, all of his meds changed. My sister's actually up there now. So I could come home, because we separate, we split. And she said he's the same, only he's resting more. He's asleep. I think they have him heavily sedated now, but he's not fighting and eyes opening and all of that. Yesterday I spent all day, Sunday, when I left there. Well, my sister left with me Sunday because she went back to the hospital. We started on the apartment. Yesterday morning, Buddy and I went to the apartment and got it all packed up and donated everything. The clothes have been donated to the veterans home, and his furniture and everything has been donated. So that was taken care of. And then I had to get on the phone yesterday and today to get, utilities and all of that taken care of. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. A lot of emotion. Sometimes you say, well, you don't have a tear left. That can be true. I don't think there's a tear left in me. And that's what I was meaning at the first of this video, that, yes, we grieve, but I personally say I'm going to grieve for a short window because that's on me. But I would rather relish and celebrate the life that my loved one had, and in this case, my brother. He lived life. He had no children. He wasn't married. So he lived it on his terms. He's a stubborn old man, but he's lived his life on his terms. And I want to celebrate that he's not going to be in pain any longer. He's not going to suffer. He's not going to be picked and probed. And he's battled cancer twice. He's had 2 open heart surgeries. He's got a defib. The man has been to hell and back, okay? And he was still just steadily fighting. But you come to a point that your body's just exhausted. And the COVID pneumonia, he just couldn't fight it. I have my other opinions too, and I'll keep that to myself, of the regimen that they treat that with in a hospital. But, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just a person with an opinion like everybody else. But I want to show y'all something. This was on his wall in his bedroom. And I came home and I washed it, and I had it in a paper towel because it's like a stone or something. But anyhow, this was, I think it's ceramic-like. But he made this when he was 9 years old at the Catholic school. Isn't that beautiful? And on the back, the nuns, I don't know how they did it, but they put that little metal hook, and he signed it Presley, and he put Jesus there. Isn't that beautiful? So I was reading, and it says after you clean it to wrap it for a few days. I guess because there's moisture in that stuff, and let it fully dry. And I'm gonna hang it up in the grand boys' room. They love their Bubba, so I was so excited because that always was in my parents' room, and I never knew what happened to it, and they must have given it back to my brother. So I was thrilled, and I asked my sister. She said, most definitely have it. So, I was tickled. And I have his rosary. And so I took it to the hospital, on Christmas Eve. And I showed it to him. I said, do you want me to pin it on your bed? No, I want you to keep it. So he got to hold his rosary. He hadn't held it in many years. It was his first one. Tiny, tiny beads, and very, very fragile. So he got to see his rosary and hold it. And I've kept it with me, throughout. And I have it with me now in my purse. So that was exciting. And he wanted to see our home. He hadn't got to see it because we couldn't travel him. Because he couldn't get in my vehicle. We tried that and he almost fell out. So that was just a no-go. So what I did is, I don't remember what day it was. I want to say it was like before Christmas, most definitely. But anyway, I came in and I took pictures of every room and different angles to the sugar shack. He wanted to see it. He wanted to see the chickens. He wanted to see the garden. He wanted to see everything. And so I took pictures after pictures. And the next morning, because I always try to get there like at daylight. I'm the morning person. My sister, she comes later in the afternoon because my brother-in-law has Alzheimer's. So, she has to tend to him, and then someone comes in the evening. So anyway, I was showing him those pictures and I was sliding them, and he was just, it's beautiful. I said, oh, but if you'd have seen it beforehand. And he chuckled. I said, Bubba, I don't know what I was thinking. I am not Joanna Gaines. And I didn't think he would realize who that was. And he gave out a chuckle like, well, no, you would never be Joanna Gaines. I said, what do you mean by these? Boy, she can sure decorate. I said, are you telling me I'm not a decorator? He said, no. I'm thinking, yeah, you just tried to be nice. But y'all, he knew who Joanna Gaines was. I cracked up. So, we've had a lot of laughs and, remembering and memories. And that's good for the soul. It's good for his soul, my sister's soul. And then, like I said, there was days that phone would ring, and it was rough. One day I couldn't even drive, but he had to, they don't give you much time. And then all of a sudden, and see, like I even told a nurse on the day that morning that Buddy had to rush me up there. He was driving. And what had happened was my sister had just left. Yeah, it was at night. And she got a call, I got a call. She was closer, so she turned around and me and Buddy took off. And I looked at that nurse and I said, keep calling. But it's not that he wants us to get there, but there's still a reason why he is still here. So let's let God handle this. And I think she got what I was saying. I hope she did. There's a way to call someone without setting panic. Okay? But that's just what they're doing. So I'd rather keep getting those calls and making these 100 trips than to not get a call. But it's like, okay, when you have a nurse that sends lab in, and I sit there and I said, why do you want to do lab? He's comfort care. Oh, he is? I kid you not. I said, yeah, he's comfort care. So it's like the left hand don't know what the right hand's doing, guys. So that's, and that's caused a lot of stress as well. But I know this is not the normal way to cheer 2024. It seems like it's doom and gloom. But we have so much, Buddy and I, to be thankful for, and our little family, and it's small. So even though we've had to face barriers, situations, even though all of that has come our way, we still celebrate that we were here in 2024 to do it together. Our little family, letting you guys into our lives, and the power of prayer and the support and the laughter, even in and out of the darkest days. 2024 was not bad. Some may not understand that, but I'm here to say it was a blessing, because this is the last day of the year. And my prayer today to the Lord was, keep our little family of 7 together to finish this year, 2024. And that will come in about 6 hours. And I don't know, but he hears my prayers. So, and that's what I asked for. I'm not one to ask for anything. I pray for the ones that I love. And I ask the Lord to give me strength to face any challenges that come up. So 2024, even with the darkest days, guys, we did it. We did it together. We supported each other. I don't think there's a greater life than that. Really and truly. I don't think there's a greater life, because it's nothing to do with stuff. It has to do with people, family, friends. That's really what matters. So we can laugh together, cry together, moan and groan together. And I've had a couple of episodes of 2024 with my shed talks. But I would not trade any of this year. I wouldn't trade anything of this year. Even though the last few weeks have been full of uncertainty. I laid it at his feet. And I trust him 100% that the answer will come. And I think we know what the answer is. My brother will be at peace. And what more could I ask for? So, cheers, my friends. Let's see what 2025 has in store. But I'll tell you one thing. As long as we do it together, we pray together, we encourage together, and we support together, whether we never meet in person, we can make it through anything of uncertainty. We can make it through any challenge. I believe it. I hope I encourage some of you that is questioning to believe it. That God has a plan. And as long as we have accepted Christ into our life, we should not fear anything. Shouldn't fear anything. So guys, let's see what next year brings. And that's in about 6 hours. And I hope it brings us all peace, love, health, good health. That's what I pray for each and every one of you. So as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one.